we will understand what is a scope. These are called scope bases. These are called scope bases. Now I am writing if, okay. That means it is a scope of if. I am writing for, it is a scope of for. It is a scope of so many. It is a scope of class. Whenever I give flower bases, it's called scope. Now let's say if flower bases, scope of if, scope of for, scope of so, scope of class. Are you getting what? So flower brackets indicates what? Scope. Now look at the point. I have some information. Look at the format. Do people know this guy? Do people know? Do people know Srinivas Nair? Do people know this guy, Srinivas Nair? He is my colony president boss. Do people know this guy? No. If within my colony, if you ask who is this Srinivas Nair, everyone say who is this Srinivas Nair, everybody recognize. Because every month he will come for collecting the funds. But if you go out of my colony and say I am a Srinivas Nair, nobody will recognize you. He was recognized only within that colony. He was recognized only within that colony. So he is a local to the scope. His influence will be working only within the colony. Once you go out of the colony and say I am a Srinivas Nair, nobody will recognize you. Am I right or no? So who is he? Srinivas Nair is a local to my colony. Only within my colony the people know who is Srinivas Nair, and he has influence in the colony. Now, if I go outside, now I have boss. Do people know KCR boss? Now what is that? My colony people also know who is KCR. Outside my colony also people know who is KCR. So what is that? KCR is a global to my colony. KCR is known within my colony, outside my colony. So who is that KCR? Is a global. Who is that Srinivas Nair? Is a local. So local variables, anything that you define within a scope, that is called local. Local variables cannot be used outside the scope. Once you come out of the scope, nobody recognizes. Any variable defined in the scope can be used only within the scope. Once you come out of the scope, nobody will recognize that variable. Are you getting my point? So what is a local variable? Any variable defined within the scope is called local to the scope. Any variable defined in the scope cannot be used outside the scope. If I define a variable within the scope, it cannot be used outside the scope. So what is a local variable? Variable defined within the scope is called local variable. Variable defined outside the scope is called global variable. Are you clear about this point? Variable defined within the scope is called local variable. Variable defined outside the scope is called global variable. So let us take one example. See this example. See this example. So local variables. What is the local variable? Any variable defined within a scope. Any variable defined within a scope is called local variable. What is a global variable? What is a global variable? Any variable defined outside the scope is called global variable. Next, local variables can be used where? Local variables can be used only within the Local variables can be used only within the scope. Local variables cannot be used outside the scope. When you say global variables, global variables can be used within the scope and outside the scope. Can be used within the scope, outside the scope. So look at the format. If I define integer age, string name, age equal to 30, name equal to Satish, city equal to Hyderabad, I have taken this. When you take this, what are the local variables? Variables which are defined. What are the variables that are defined? City. Variables which are defined are called local variables. City string form. Age and name are not defined. They are not defined within the scope. They are used within the scope. Age and name are not defined. They are used within the scope. So what is a global variables? Global variables. Global variables. Global variables are age. Can I use city and phone outside the scope? If I give here system.debug, what it gives? Unknown variable. If I give system.debug, it will give you what? Unknown variable. Similarly, we are taking age and name. System.debug. It prints 30. System.debug. It prints 30. So what is that? System.debug city, unknown variable, because city and phone can be used only within the scope. Once you come out of the scope, people will not recognize what is that city, what is that phone. So the name, age can be used outside as well as inside. The same thing if I define within the scope here. If I define the same variables within the scope, then we are going to get Hyderabad, and I am going to get. If I define within a scope, if I print it within the scope, city, yes, I can print it. City equal to Hyderabad, phone equal to 123, age equal to 30, name equal to Satish. But if I go to outside the scope, system.debug city, unknown variable called city. City cannot be used outside the scope. Phone, unknown variable phone number cannot be used outside the scope. Age and name, yes, they can be used because they are global variables. So any variable you define within a scope are called local. Any variable you define within the scope are called local. Any variable you define outside the scope are called global. Am I clear with this? People are clear with this concept? Clear for everyone? Okay. Let me take one more example. Time to copy. Right. Let's go to the next example. Example 2. So look at the format I am giving. So I give public class exam. Here we are not worried whether it's a class or a method or whatever it is. We are only worried about scope. If you write within a flower bracket, it's what? Scope. If you write within a flower bracket, it's a scope. So what is the name of the scope? Example. What is the name of the scope? Example. In this scope, I wrote public string branch, public string city, public. Then I wrote one more scope. I wrote public void show. Values can be used. The variables can be used anywhere. The variables can be used anywhere. Based on the declaration only, they are called local variables. Once I define here, values can be, I can use the variable. Using the variable is what? When I say I am using the age and name, what you are using? Using is what? Either you are going to assign the values, or you are going to calculate the values, or you are going to print the values. That is called usage. You can use the variables anywhere. You can use the variables anywhere. You can define the variable anywhere. You can assign the values anywhere. You can use them anywhere. Right? Using is different from declaring. This is a declaring. This is usage. Are you clear? This is usage. This is usage. You can use the variables anywhere. Come back. So, what is the name of this scope? So, I got a scope called show. Now look at this. Now, I am using the variable called branch. Now, this is one scope. What is the name of the scope? I am giving one more scope. Public void. The name of the scope is what? So here I am giving system.debug. This is the scope. So we have, can I use the branch and city within the show? Why? Because branch and city are defined outside the scope, so they can be used within the show. So branch equal SML, is it accepted? City equal element, is it accepted? Now what is this name? Can I define my own local variable? Right? So you have defined a local variable. This name can be used where? The name can be used only within the show. Now, this is another scope. Can I use a branch within the column? Yes. It is defined outside the scope. Branch can be used. Can I use the city? Can I use the name? Are you getting my point here? Alright. So, understand what are the global variables, what are the local variables. Variable defined within the scope can be used only within the scope. Variables defined within the scope can be used only within the scope. So look at the format. For the scope example, what are the local variables? For the example scope, what are the local variables? Branch. That's all. Now, this name cannot be used outside the show. Name cannot be used outside the show. So example also cannot use. Any variable defined within the scope only for the scope. So name is defined within the show. So only that name will come for what? Show only. Outside the show? No. So what are the local variables? Branch and city. Do you have any global variables? For example, do you have any global variables? No global. Then let us go to the show. If you take a show scope of the show, what are the local variables? What are the global variables? Branch. Now I have call me. For call me, what are the local variables? What are the local variables? Local is no local variables. Global. What are the global variables? Branch and people have followed. So variables defined in one method, they cannot be used in other method. Variables defined in one method cannot be used in other method, because if you define within any method, they become a local. Local variables cannot be defined, or then local variables cannot be used in another scope. Local variables can be used only within the scope. People are clear? Right. So let us take the next example. So let us understand this. Public This is the scope. What is the name of the scope? Demo. Then I have public. I have one more scope. Public void. Now, what is the name of the scope? Calculate. Name of the scope is calculate. The calculate I wrote. If. What is the name of the scope? This is the scope of what? If. The scope of if. Then I told salary equal to. It is scope of what? So basically it's a local or non-local, that's all. It may be if or for or we are not worried. Scope of if, scope of else, scope of call, calculate, scope of demo. If you give flower bracket, it's a scope. If you define anything within that scope, it's a local. If you define outside it, it's a global. Now, I am defining one more scope, public void show. Now, what is the name of the scope? Name of the scope is show. I am giving it system.debug. Now, tell me which is valid. Now, first of all, can I use the salary within this calculate? Can I use salary within the calculate? Why? Because salary is a global. Can I use? Yes. Can I use the salary within the else? Yes. Can I use the bonus? Bonus is what? Can I use age? Can I use age? Yes. Age is a global. Can I use salary? Yes. Can I use experience? Can I use bonus? Because bonus is a local to only calculate. Bonus is local to only calculate. So we cannot use it. Let us go with that. We are taking a scope demo. For demo scope, what are the local variables we have? For demo we have age, experience, then we have calculate. For calculate, what are the local variables we have? What are the local variables we have? Only those. Pardon me? Global to what? Global to what? Calculate. Local to what? Right. Local to demo, global to? So local. What is the global? You defined salary is defined where? Demo. Like this you defined. Within this you define. But demo it is a local. For the calculate it's a global. So global. Global. What is the global for calculate? Age, experience. Now, let us go to the next step. For the show. For the show, what are the local variables? Local. No local variables. Global. Age, experience. So people have got the idea about what is a local, what is a global. Right? People have understood what is a local, what is a global. Clear? Anything defined within the scope is called local. Outside the scope is called global. Local variables cannot be used in outside the scope. Local variables can be used only within the scope. They cannot be used outside the scope. Global variables can be used within the scope, outside the scope. I hope you are clear with this example. People are clear? Any query on this? So let us go to the next one. We are going to learn the next concept. So basically, we need to understand the format of writing your last book. I told you, most of us are not able to write a program because we don't understand the requirement properly. We don't have the clarity of what we are writing. That is the reason why we are not able to write. When I write a program, everybody is writing integer. What next? Nobody knows. Right? Because we don't have the clarity about the requirement. So how to analyze the requirement? So when you want to build any programming, first you have to analyze the requirement. What is the analyzation? What is the data involved? What is the data involved? This data is given from where? What is the data I have to calculate? What is the output I have to give? What are the inputs you are giving? What is the other data I required? What are the calculations I am doing? What is the output I am going to give? If you understand this requirement clearly, then building a program is very simple. Right? Let us do some basic examples. Basic level scenarios. Listen to the conversation. I have go to the understanding conversation. I went to a shop. I spoke with shopkeeper. Boss, what is the cost of the book? Then he told, price of the book is 500 rupees. Then he asked me, how many books you need? I told I require 40 books. Then I told how much I have to pay. Then he told 400 to pay. 40 into 500 rupees. Then I asked, do you have any concession, boss? Then he told 10% concession on your total amount. Fine. What is the total amount I have to pay? Okay, 40 into 500 into minus 10% of the amount. This is a conversation happened between me and a shopkeeper. I went to a shop. I asked him, what is the price of the book? I asked him, what is the price of the book? When I asked the price of the book, he told 500 rupees. Each book is 500 rupees. Then he asked me, how many books I need? How many books you need? I told I need 40 books. Then he told me how much I have to pay. How much I have to pay? He told me 40 into 500. I asked any discount. He told 10% on total amount. 10% on total amount, which is 20,000 minus 20,000 into 10%. Then he told, pay me 18,000. This is the overall conversation happened between me and shopkeeper. I want to convert this conversation in terms of program. So the conversation what I had, I want to convert this in terms of programming. When you want to convert this conversation in terms of programming, first of all, understand what is the data involved. Now tell me what is the data involved. The data involved is, okay, price of the book, number of books, total amount. Now what is the data involved? Price of the book, number of books, total amount, discount. In this, who is going to give the price? We need to provide the price. Who is going to, system is going to calculate the number of books? No. Provided by the user. User is going to provide. Total, system will calculate. Then discount, system will calculate. Now, this is the data what is involved. In this data, what is the data I have to give? What is the data system will calculate? I have this clarity. Now, fine. First decide. What are the variables that we require? Price, the number of books, and total discount. Price is going to be what? 500 rupees. If it is a rupees, decimal price. Then total is going to be what? Total is what? 2,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees. So what is that? Then discount, decimal. Then number of books, 10 books, 20 books. If you don't assign any value, by default they are going to take null. If you don't assign any value, by default they are going to take null. If you don't assign any value, by default what is the value they are going to take? Null value they are going to take. So we are assigning the value. What is the price? Price equal to 500. number of books equal to, then I have to calculate total equal to number of books into, so total equal to number of books into price. Then we are finding out discount. Discount is what? 10% off. Then what is the total amount I have to pay? Total equal to total minus. Then I am going to print the value. System.debug number of books. Number of books. Then I am going to give system.debug. Okay. Book price. Then system.debug discount. Then system.debug. Are you getting my point? So first understand what is the data involved, what is the data involved, and know what is the data that user has to create, what is the data that system has to calculate. Accordingly, we have to calculate the values. This is how we need to understand the writing of your program initially. When you are new to the programming, when you are very new to the programming, this is how you need to analyze your program. First understand your requirement, know what is the data involved. In this data, what user has to provide, what system has to calculate, then accordingly create the program. If you don't make analysis of this, if you don't make this analysis, you will not be able to write a program. If you are unable to write a program, you never make this type of analysis. As simple as that. So people have followed this. So what is this program? 5th class mathematics. Nothing but 5th class mathematics. And addition subtractions will be given first class and second class. The only thing is you need to understand clearly and write it. That's only the difference. Programming is a 5th class mathematics, but you need to spend some time to understand what is given in the wording, what are the wording is given, understand this wording and make it. That's what. I hope I am clear with this. People are clear? Okay. Let us build one more example. Let us build one more example. Now, I went to a movie theater. I asked, boss, what is the price of each ticket? They told, 200 rupees is the price of each ticket. Then I told, how many tickets you have? He told, I have 100 tickets. Then I asked, how many tickets you want? I told, I need 20 tickets. I need 20 tickets. Fine. So, how much I have to pay? How much you have to pay? Then he told, 200 into 100, okay, 200 into 20 tickets plus 10% service tax, 5% entertainment tax. Okay, you have to pay this amount. Fine. Then once I made a payment, what is going to say? Available tickets will become how many? Now already 20 tickets I purchased. How many available tickets will be there? 80 tickets will be available. This is the conversation happened between me and the shopkeeper. So what is the conversation? First I asked, what is the cost of each ticket? He told, rupees 200. Then I asked, how many tickets you have? How many tickets you have? He told, yes, 100 tickets. How many tickets you want? 20 tickets. Then, how much I have to pay? How much I have to pay? He told 20 into 200 plus 5% tax on total amount plus 5% tax, 10% tax of on total as service tax. They told entertainment tax 5%, service tax 10%. Now, how much you have to pay? Calculate. This is the conversation what happened between me and the person sitting in the counter. Now tell me what is the data involved in this program? What is the data involved? I need to know price of the ticket. Okay. Then how many tickets are available? available, how many tickets you want, then what is the service tax, right? Then so e-tax, I can make e-tax. Then next, what is the total amount? What is the total amount? This is the conversation happened between me and shopkeeper. This is the data I want. Now price will be what format? Decimal. Decimal price. Now available tickets are going to be which format? Integer. Then number of tickets are going to be then service tax is going to be then we got fine. Now in this, who is going to give the price? User has to provide the price. Available tickets, user has to provide. Number of tickets, user has to provide. Service tax, calculate. E-tax, calculate. Total amount, calculate. So know what is the data you have to provide, what is the data you have to calculate, accordingly write the program. If I don't assign the value, what are the values that we got? Null. If you don't assign any value, what is the value we are getting? Null value. So what is the format? Price equal to 200, available equal to 100, number of tickets equal to 200. So what is the total value we have? Total equal to, before you use a variable, you have to define. Define the variables first, then use it. So what is the total? Total tickets into service tax. Service tax is total into 10%. Chalo, okay boss. 5%. E-tax. Total into, what is the total we have? Total plus service tax. Then, once the total is find out, what are the available tickets? Available equal to available minus. Then you want to print the message, you can print. So you want to print the message saying that system.debug number of tickets debug unit price. So you give according to your choice. Print the remaining values. Are you clear about this format? So understand the requirement and accordingly build the programming. I hope you have followed. Am I clear with this? Clear with this? Let us understand the next time. You propose the girl. When you propose the girl, what are the possibilities, boss? She may say yes or she may say no. If she say yes, what you want to do? If she say no, what do you want to do? Now there are two possibilities. You are proposing a girl. If the girl say yes, you are going to get married. If the people say no, then what? You will party with your friends. Now there are two choices. Yes, what to do? No, what to do. Now we are giving. If there is a condition, if the condition is true, I want to perform this. If the condition is false, I want to do this. Then I am going for what? If else condition. When there are two choices, if then there are two choices, according to the condition, if the condition is true, do this. If the condition is false, do this. When you want to define a condition, based on the condition you want to perform some action, then I will go for what? If else. I will go for what? If else. Look at this statement. Now listen to this statement. Statement 1, statement 2. I have if I give some condition. If condition. I give some condition. Statement 4. I give else condition. Then I give this is my program. The statement may be anything. It may be addition, it may be subtraction, it may be printing, it may be anything. This is the program what I wrote. When I wrote this program, what happened? When I wrote this program, the condition is true. Whatever the condition I give, it is true. I give a condition like age above 30. Yes, age is above 30. If the condition is true, what are the statements are going to run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. If the condition is true, which statements are going to run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. If the given condition is true, these are the statements which are going to run. If the condition is false, if condition is false, which are going to run? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right, boss? If the given condition is true, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. If the given condition is false, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if the condition is true, whatever I wrote within the scope of if, they are going to be executed. If the condition is false, whatever I wrote in the else, they are going to be executed. Am I clear with this? People are clear with this format? People have followed? Let me give you one more space. I gave again. So we need to understand which will run when. If you know which statements will run, then we can write logic accordingly. Then I have condition like this. Statement 1, statement 2, if condition 1, then I give else, statement 6, statement 7, statement 8, then I give if condition, this is the format I wrote. Now, look at the first one. If the given condition is true, condition 1 is true. If the condition 1 is true, what will execute? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14. If the condition is true, will it come to else? I will not come to else. So what will be executed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 15. If the condition is true, only statements in the if will be executed. I will come to the outside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 14, 15. Then look at the next one. Condition 1 is false. Condition 2 is false. Condition 1 is false. Condition 2 is also false. If condition 1 is false, what will happen? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Then I am going to check condition 2. Condition 2 is also what? False. Then what happened? 12, 13, 14. So statements in the if will be executed only when condition is true. When the condition is true, then only the statements in the if are going to be executed. Now what happened? Condition 2 is false. So 10 and 11 are not going to be executed. Then I have next one. Condition 1 false. Condition 2. Condition 2 is 2. Then what happened? 1, 2, then 6, 7, 8. Condition 2. What is the condition 2? Condition 2 is 2. If condition 2 is 2, run the statements. What was these? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is not else. Right, boss? People have followed this format. So understand which statements will run when. Which statements will run when. So if condition is true, statements in the if are going to be executed. If the if condition is false, statements in the else are going to be executed. Are you clear about this one? Basic structure. If else, we are going to give a condition. If the condition is true, run the statements in the if. If the condition is false, run the statements in the else. Are you clear about this? Right. Look at the next one. I have one more example. I have statement 1. If condition. This is what I think. Now tell me, which statements will be executed when condition is true? If condition is true, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If condition is false, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. People are clear with this? People have followed? Any queries on this? So, if else condition, if the condition is true, run the statements. If condition is false, run the statements in the else. People have followed? Right? The basic structure is clear? Which will run when? Okay. Now the question is, when do you write the conditions? When do you write the condition? How do you write the condition? Conditions will be written with the operators. What are the operators we are going to use? Less than, greater than, less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, not equal to, then double equal to. What is the meaning of double equal to? Verify left side value is equal to right side value or not. Right. So we got other operators like and. This is how we are going to write a condition. If you want to write a condition, variable operator. This is how we are going to. How the condition is given? Variable operator. Fine. So I am giving it age above 30. Age more than 30. City equal to Hyderabad. You want to check whether city equal to Hyderabad. How do you check it? City double equal to, it checks left side value and right side value are same or not. Double equal to, verify the left side value is equal to right side value or not. Salary equals to 50k. So what we do? Salary equals to, right boss? Now I told industry equals to banking. Industry equals to banking. Why I am giving the banking in single quotes? It is strict. Then I'm giving close date equal to today. Close date equals to today. What is the close date equals to today? Close date equals to, how do you refer to today? System dot today. Now I'm giving close date equals to close date less than 50 days from today. Days. Close date less than 50 days from today. I'm going to give close date less than 50 days from today. System dot today. Then I will say apply date less than May 20th of 2017. How do you define? Apply date less than date dot new instance of 2017 May. Are you clear about this, sir? Right, boss? Date values. You are comparing with today, system dot today. You are comparing with any particular date dot new instance of that particular date. I hope you are clear. People are clear. Let us take the next one. If you want to apply logical conditions, what are logical and or not? So basically, how do you define here? Variable, operator, value, and condition 1 or condition 2. Again, variable, operator. This is what I mean. So what is the condition code? Industry equal to education and annual revenue less than 50. Industry equals to education and annual revenue less than 50K. So what I am giving here? Industry equals to education and annual revenue less than, I told, lead source equals to web and rating equal to what? Lead source equal to web and rating equals to what? All this we are going to use in the programming. Lead source equal to web, rating equal to what? So what I am doing here? Lead source equals to rating equals to. Then I have next condition. Priority equals to, priority not equals to what? Not equals to I, and stage equals to yes. Priority not equals to high or stage equals to closed. Priority not equals to high. You get priority not equals to high or stage equals to. Right, boss? This is how we are giving the condition. People are clear. So we are writing the condition in this format. Once you write the condition accordingly, we are going for if else. Accordingly, we are going for if else. So what was the condition now? Look at the condition. We are only writing a snippet. Logical writing we are making. We are not writing a code program. I told if industry equals to banking, set rating as warm and ownership as, this is the condition what I have. If industry value equals to banking, set the rating equal to warm and ownership equal to public. So how do you write the logic for this? If industry equals to, then set rating equal to warm, ownership equal to. Right? People are clear with this. Right. Now I'm trying to give one more example. If stage name is prospecting, set close date as 15 days from today. If stage name is prospecting, set close date as 15 days from today. 15 days from today. And type as new customer. If stage name is prospecting, set close date as 15 days from today. Type as new customer. Now tell me how do you write the condition? If stage name equal to prospecting, then I'm going to give close date equal to 15 days from today. So how do you give 15 days? System dot today. Then type equal to. Are you clear about this? If condition, if the condition is true, perform the logic. If the condition is true, perform the logic. Then I am giving here. Next one. Example. If experience is more than 5 years, then set salary as 60K and bonus as 60. If experience is less than or equal to 5 years, then set salary as 40K and bonus as. Then how do you define? How many conditions are there now? If experience is more than 5 years, set the salary equal to 60,000 and bonus equal to 6,000. If experience is less than or equal to 5 years, then set the salary equal to 40K, bonus equal to 4K. So what I am doing? If experience is greater than 5, then I am going to give, if it is greater than 5, salary equal to. Let the non-developers understand cost. Else I will give. If it is not greater than or equal to greater than 5 years, then salary equal to how much? Salary equal to 40,000. Bonus equal to. This is how I will. People have followed the conditions. So understand the requirement, then know